Hello, hello, hello. It's 5D here, beeping deeply. It's that time again. This is episode 18, entitled Silence Isn't Golden. The reason for the title is this entire hour is dedicated to a label called ERASED Tapes. So you can get why I called it Silence Isn't Golden. Discovered ERASED Tapes as a label, I think initially through rival consoles. One of my favorite artists, and I think he's on ERASED Tapes quite a bit actually, and I discovered ERASED Tapes through him, and I just love them. It's pretty ambient, not entirely. There's ambience, there's instrumental stuff, there's electronical stuff. I'll play you. I think there's only one that's sort of a bit quite beaty that I'm going to play today. But it's a variety of music. It's just really good. ERASED Tapes. So I will dive right in with a track by Nils Fram, who is based in Berlin. I don't know if he's from Berlin. He knows how to play piano and arrange scores. And this is a track called, what's it called? Our Own Roof. And it's actually off it's from music for the motion picture. That's what it's from. The motion picture Victoria, which if you haven't seen it, go out or rent it or stream Victoria. It's an incredibly clever film, I should say. It's one entire take. They literally filmed the movie like for an hour and a half. It took them 4 or 5 attempts. There's mad stories behind it. We'll look into it. The movie's actually also really good. The most impressive thing though is it's hard enough to direct 30 seconds to take, let alone an hour and a half at once, of a sort of semi-action movie about people robbing a bank as well. Yeah, mental. Don't know what's the word. Yeah, an achievement in technical filmmaking. Anyway, on to the track now. Here it is. Very chill, very deep, very beautiful. It's Our Own Roof, Nils Fram. That's deep tune. Moving on, we now have a track called Endalaus 2. II, the Roman numerals 2. It's got a bass, strange but nice bass in it. Something I like, of course. Strange. I like all sorts of bass, and strange bass can be even better. The track is by Olafur Arnolds. I assume that's how you pronounce it. I've literally just discovered this track, searching around for this podcast. He's from Iceland, a multi-instrumentalist and producer. And yeah, just check it out. Here's the track. Erased on the Erased tapes again. Well, the whole podcast is, so I'll stop saying that soon. Here we go. Endalaus, I'll just play the track. violin-y, very violin-y. A lot of Erased tapes is violin-y. You gotta have a love of violins. You don't have to, but I do. I think a lot of people who are into music must do. Next up, we have a vocal track. There's no music. It's just Alred and Broderick, The Ways. Just having a nice little sing-song, sing-song, just saying how it is, really. Check this. It's really cool. Here we go.
There are cars on the street next to people on their feet, both breathing the same air, both breathing the same air. Regardless of income, possessions, and name, and your fame, and whoever you claim to be. In the grand scheme, we're all the same. We're all the same. There are places to go and things you should know about the world in which we live, about the world in which we live. It's a curious, mysterious place full of secrets and people who live in misery overseen. If we're all the same, then how can this be? How can this be? I know that I have a voice, and even that's not my choice, but I'll use it anyway. I'll use it anyway. Even though it might not be heard by enough people to help spread the word that I have some growing concerns for us all. But if we open our ears, may we minimize our fears. May we minimize our fears. We live in a time where everything moves too fast for our own good. We knew it would. So why don't we help each other more? We clearly could do it, but it's like we're at war with ourselves, with ourselves, with ourselves. If we open our minds to the possibility that things can change for the better for everybody, in a world where there's anger, confusion, and the wonder of how and when it will all come to an end. In the meantime, let's find more ways to be kind. Let's find the ways.
So yes, that was nice, wasn't it? Alred, or Allred, I'm not actually sure, and Broderick. The ways. Moving on, I mentioned rival consoles as the way I actually got into this label. So I will now play a rival consoles tune called Howl. I don't know what he does with his synthesizers, how he does it, as I am a little synth nerd. I am interested to know. But yeah, he just twists them around and makes them amazing. Yeah, pretty damn well. I'm sure it's probably some modular too. Anyway, I'll just let him do that in the track. Howl, like the synth is howling. Here we go. and loving that tune. Rival Consoles, Howl. Did you like the synth howling, growling, synthiness? I certainly do. Yeah, that's why I'm playing it. It's from Erased Tapes, that one. Off his album, I'm not actually sure. I'm thinking not of the album I was thinking of, so I'm not going to mention it. Next up, we have Ben Lucas Boyson, and this is his track Nocturne 4. He's definitely another instrumentalist. First compositions were experiments with samplers and tape loops. I guess that is quite suitable if you're going to be on a label called Erased Tapes. And yeah, he likes to fiddle about, like I do too, with sound. It's always a nice thing to do. I'm not going to, and I can't, play any of my tracks today because I'm not on Erased Tapes. But I do make all different sorts of music, and some that may be considered similar to this sort of thing. So have a look at deepandbeeper.co.uk and search about. I will actually have this thing up there on there now where because I do different sorts of music, all different range, I'll have some that say maybe chilled or instrumental piano. So, you could find stuff like this rather than click on and be battered around the face by some insane IDM, which is a very great possibility if you just go to my music and without a bit of guidance, I suppose. Anyway, here we go. Nocturne 4. Yeah, Ben Lucas Boyson. Lovely tune. This is it. Yeah, nice there. Nice instrumental. Instrumentality. That's a good one. I like that. Instrumentality. That was Nocturne 4 by Ben Lucas Boyson. So we're moving from a more instrumental entirely track to something that's definitely got some electronica elements in it. That will be Daddy, it's called, by Rival Consoles and Pizza Project together. And I like it. It's a great tune, this. I hope you like it too. So I'll just let that run and yeah, have a listen. Here we go.
myself a man now. Sitting in a car and aiming real far. Can I call myself a man now?
Yeah, I like that little bit of lyric there. Also, the tone and quality and the sound in his voice is just really nice. It's well recorded, well performed. Yeah, it's cool. So now is Untravel by Rival Consoles. That's what's coming in the background now. Very ambient, but still electronical, quite sort of futuristic-y sounding track. Still on Erased Tapes. Everything's on Erased Tapes for this hour. The hour is Silence Isn't Golden, podcast 18 of Beeping Deeply. I'm 5D and I'm hosting this podcast. So what I was saying, that's what I was going to say. If you haven't seen this music video, go to YouTube, type in Rival Consoles Untravel. That's if you like trippy music videos. It's a bit of CGI, but it's just really cool. It looks like... you know what, I'm not going to try and explain. Just go see it. Here's a track, Untravel, running as we speak. was Rival Consoles with Untravel. So next up, we have a track called Summer Sickness by Shards. I love this track, but I literally just discovered it because I was doing an Erased Tapes. I'm doing this Erased Tapes podcast, and I thought I'd just scan through some Erased Tapes and see what new stuff I could find that I hadn't heard before. And this is that, Summer Sickness by Shards. Here we go. I just found out Shards is an experimental vocalist. That's pretty funny. I just actually clocked the lyrics at the end there. And when I hear the schoolboys playing in the streets, I feel like I should drown them. It's just bizarre. But, a lot of music is. I think is what he said. Anyway, Summer Sickness. It does make sense. The summer makes him crazy. I'm not like that. Not going to lie. I love the summer. And I don't feel like drowning any school kids. That is a little bit weird. I was thinking of... people can be weird in their lyrics. Not the weirdest thing I've ever heard. Sometimes pop music, you hear some insanely bizarre stuff. You're like, what? But my kids are listening to that. What the hell's going on? Well, I listened to it when I was a kid. Well, probably explains why we were a bit messed up. Anyway, next up we have... What do we have? Chapter. A track by Penguin Cafe. Of all, things it could be called. It's pretty fun. Penguin Cafe, founded in 2009 by Arthur Jeffs. And this is a nice track. Let me just run it. It's playing now. Here we go. Yeah, that was Chapter by Penguin Cafe. I like that tune actually, that's really cool. I liked it. Pretty chilled. Nice melodies and harmonies going on there. Moving on, we've got a short one. A little short track. I'll just introduce it quickly and let it play by Michael Price. Sandom on ERASED tapes. Yeah, pretty operatic there. Michael Price is a producer, but he's also been a music editor and music composer for various movies. You can see it play through there in that track. Beautiful, almost churchish. I'm not a massively religious person, I'm not gonna lie, but I don't like a lot of hymns or church music, choir stuff, I'm not gonna lie, but a little bit once in a blue moon, the right kind of stuff. Yeah, it's quite nice. I think I did like that, because that's another track that I just discovered for this podcast actually. Quite discovered. I was played a bunch of stuff I knew from Erased Tapes, discovered some new stuff. The final track, and now for something completely different, is the phrase that describes what's going on next, is a track by Chiasmos, which is definitely something completely different. It's not that sort of church choir business. You'll hear what's going on in a second. And Chiasmos does stuff like this. This is actually when I found it, I was like, oh, that's really cool. But it's a little bit less chilled than what Chiasmos normally does. But yeah, so now for something completely different. It's 5D signing out, breathing deeply, and I'll see you in the next episode. This has been the Erased Tapes podcast. All about the label Erased Tapes. Here it is, 65 by Chiasmos. Running now.